Hi everyone, I'm Simon. I am a makeup artist on the Pride Speaks project, and my availability lately has been a little all over the place, so I am going to try and walk through a bit of a crash course on the makeup application process for the project next Saturday. This is just kind of to familiarize yourselves. The cast has a variety of makeup prior knowledge and expertise and experience. You will not be expected to do everything entirely on your own if you feel you cannot. That's why I'm here. But still, we want to, let you know what to expect. And if you do feel comfortable with makeup, give you the resources you need to practice here. So that you can prepare some things ahead of time. For instance, I'm sure this is a little bit alarming to see just the white base, but I applied my base before filming to make sure I had it all nice and set, and everyone will be starting with white and using grayscale shading. We're going for the look of the mural, so everyone is painted in this white background and using these grays and blacks to fill in. I'm filling in my brows a little bit. I will be going right over it. But if you need to do any reshaping, you certainly can. Again, if you feel like it and wish to do so, you can, do the whole like gluing down whole like drag base. I'm trying to make minimal cuts. So this might be something short of a full face, just to demonstrate a little bit of everything. If you don't, if you need help. Sorry, I'm riffing. I'm tight lining my waterline with a white pencil. Because I'm kind of going for someone, I want to cover a little bit of everything. You'd probably tightline this in black if you are playing someone who wears a lot of makeup. Someone who would line this with black or brown eyeliner. In black and white, you'd probably just take a normal black pencil and do this. If you're someone who doesn't wear makeup, conversely, this step is a little bit more unconventional. Because you have to make it look like someone in black and white who would not have a tight line waterline. And I've messed up my base a little bit, and I'm covering it back up. I'm just using a little cake of Ben Nye cream in CL1 white. I have a bit of Mehron Clown white. You'll be airbrushed as long as there are no sensitivities in the cast there. I just don't currently have that product on me. Face contour, I have a little bullet point on the side. I'm starting with a lighter gray. And carving out a little bit here. Right now I'm following how I would normally contour my face. This is where you can get a little creative and a little optical illusion-y. As contouring, adding the lights and the darks on your face, can really change how your face looks in a three-dimensional space. So if you maybe are cast as someone who has like a distinct physical feature, a distinct nose shape or eye shape or something, or just doesn't look like you very much in a given way, you can use the contour to create that definition where it quote-unquote wants to go. This will probably take a moment, and I'll probably not have as much to say, so I'll pause here. All right, it's been a minute. I have a little bit of contour on my face. It's no longer just like a solid blank white page. This is probably around where I'd stop for someone playing a white person who doesn't wear makeup. I think this is contoured enough, and it's shadows, and it's, there's still some line work that I'll get to in a moment. And I don't what I just said kind of implies that people of color would be in more of a gray base. I don't want that per se. I don't want to gray anyone out. But I would just like build up the shadow heavier. When I was recording the first little batch, yeah, I was using the lightest shade of gray in this palette, and I had been building up more with darker and darker. And I would kind of just keep contouring in that regard to imply a lighter complexion without muddying somebody up, you know, without just like completely. I hope that's a little coherent. And I am filling in my brows now as not my brows. Again, kind of just trying to show any possible case scenario. You know, if you're playing someone with thinner brows, don't have the time or resources or the ability to, you know, if you never glued your brows down before, this is a possible way. This is a way you could go about it. Just kind of filling it in with the base and then penciling it back in later. What else did I have? And then certainly using darker grays and blacks. If you're playing someone who does wear makeup, does wear a bit of a glam, then I would just like shade this in darker. And I'll do that on one eye just to see, just to demonstrate. Fill in a little bit here. There we go. You just sort of stick in these grays and these blacks, but darken it, define it, wing it out a little bit. It's kind of that same contour principle, just a lot more drastic, a lot more emphasized. This is where I'd even say, especially say, that shimmer can come into play. This I was going to use as highlighter. I was going to recommend people use as highlighter. It can absolutely be part of a grayscale eye look if you are playing one of our wonderful roles, wonderful activists who was known to have a full beat. I might even pause to do the liner. I'll record the line work, but the wing will take a moment. Probably more people will want mascara than not. I'm not sure, I don't know, my lashes aren't very visible and they're not very white. So I think if you're, again, playing a role, someone who wouldn't have these defined lashes, it's up to user discretion. I don't think it feminizes so much. I think it adds to the definition. But that's kind of part of why I'm filming something like this and asking you all to think about it right now, so that you can, you know, test things out, see for yourself, see what you like. Because I'd hate to have you try something brand new on the day, and then it doesn't go right. And then what do we do? Then where do we go? You know? Just giving a little bit more definition. I've kind of accidentally created this little bit of a like mask side, femme side. So maybe I bring this down a little bit, buff it out, make this a bit more rigid, you know. And what else do I have? Right. So then there's this line work sort of impression, because it's, you know, meant to look painted, drawn. So I'd recommend taking one of your own selfies or a picture of your character. Either's great, both is great. And like just playing in the color settings. Doesn't have to be grayscale, but high contrast. A monochrome of some sort would probably be best. But that, with the right color settings, should be able to show you, where those lines are better, if that's not something that you can see very well for yourself, because humans are a 3D surface and you might not be able to pick out that line so well. And again, probably takes some experimentation. And again, circling back to another point, maybe there's something really specific about your role, about your character. A certain feature that's very like, oh, well, they are not them without this. The sooner you can identify something like that, and especially if that's something very much to keep in mind about your character, replicate that with your eyeliner or your face paint or whatever, even better. I have this beauty mark here. I usually do these on my own face. So that's a defining something that I would want to include. As you can see, I have completely lost the plot because I just started going in with all kinds of minor details, especially if you don't have like a big eye look, other kinds of accents, and something you can add so that it doesn't just look like any white base, you know. And I'm mixing, I don't know if it's just a normal matte gray in my lip palette, but I'm mixing black and white. Again, to kind of show what makeup you would do to give no makeup in this context, because even if you don't wear makeup, your lips are darker than your face. Your lips have at least more color than your face. And especially, I'm going to go in a little bit with a little more black on the top, because in many cases, as your skin gets darker, I'm sorry if I'm mansplaining anything, but I'm kind of assuming that you know nothing so that this video is accessible for everyone. So I'm so sorry if you're someone who's like, oh my god, I know this all already, shut up. If you're like any darker than I am, your top lip will also be a little darker than your bottom. And this is the kind of thing that I think about. Probably if you don't put this much detail in, no one will kill you. But again, that's why I'm here. I'm here to nitpick about things like this. And if you want to nitpick about things, but don't want to have to do it all yourself, I'll be here on the day. That's about everything that comes to mind to cover right now. You should have my phone number. I'll put my phone number in the email that I send this video in. This has got to be like a YouTube link. Oh man, this is longer than I meant it to be. But call me, text me, whatever, with more questions. I hope this is at least something. Oh, the final step, I don't think I said, is sealing. But I'm like just in my house right now. I'm not sealing this right now. I'm taking it off immediately. Good luck.